Hello, everyone. Hello. We're back with a different topic. AI giant Nvidia has become the first company in world history to be worth $4 trillion, with Nvidia shares rising 2.8% on Wednesday. The Silicon Valley Titan's market cap climbed to $4.01 trillion. Nvidia became the first publicly traded company to reach a $4 trillion valuation. $4 trillion. I don't know what you make of this. I say it in one breath. You hear it in one go. But it's really hard to grasp this number. And if we can't understand these figures, we can't understand America's true power or what the world economy revolves around. If we were to compare Nvidia's size, which has surpassed $4 trillion, with country economies, we might understand it more. According to IMF data, the value of Nvidia makes it the sixth largest economy after the United States, China, Germany, India, and Japan. So the world's sixth largest economy is an American company called Nvidia. Moreover, Nvidia's value is very close to the economic sizes of Germany, Japan, and India. So perhaps in a little while, maybe a month from now, maybe a year from now, Nvidia will no longer be the sixth largest economy. It will surpass Germany and India and become the world's third largest economy. A single company. What's more, a company with only 36,000 employees can be larger than the entire UK economy. It can also be larger than the economies of Russia or Canada. You often hear that everything is for arms sales, ammunition sales, and so on. I'm talking about the defense industry. You hear about weapons, lobbies. Nvidia alone has reached a value greater than all global military expenditures. A chip factory has reached a value greater than the money America, China, Russia, Europe, whoever spends on weapons. A software and hardware factory has reached this value. Now you understand what a reality Nvidia is. By the way, if you like, let's list the world's top 5 largest and most valuable companies. Let's list the other 4 firms besides Nvidia. The world's second largest company after Nvidia is Microsoft. As you know, this is also an American company, and its value is almost close to the German economy at $3.7 trillion. In third place is another American giant. Its name is Apple. Its value is over $3 trillion, at $3.4 trillion. The world's fourth largest company is also an American firm. Its name is Amazon. Its value is $2.2 trillion. And the fifth company, which is also an American firm, is Alphabet, owned by Google. Alphabet's market value is also over $2 trillion. So, all but one of the world's top 5 companies are digital firms related to artificial intelligence. Nvidia, in fact, has a humble origin story. The founding partners are Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem. Its founding goes back to 1993. The company was on the verge of bankruptcy at one point in the 1990s. Now it is the most valuable company in the world. The Taiwanese-American businessman Huang owns only 3.5% of the company. Huang owns 3.5% of the company's shares. And thanks to these shares, Huang is the 9th richest person in the world. Nvidia's stock gained 35,000% in a short period of 10 years. In other words, if you had bought $1,000 worth of Nvidia stock in July 2015, you would now have $350,000. If the money you invested was $10,000, you would now have a fortune of $3.5 million. Nvidia, which was worth $10 billion 10 years ago, crossed the $1 trillion mark in 2023. In 2024, it first reached $2 trillion. Then it reached $3 trillion. Not even a year has passed. Now, in early July 2025, Nvidia has become the first company in the world to cross the $4 trillion mark. There's a very close relationship between the rise of California-based Nvidia and the rise of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is definitely a revolution, and we are at the very beginning of this revolution. Tomorrow, the effects of artificial intelligence may reach dimensions we cannot even imagine. Unlike ordinary internet and computer technologies, artificial intelligence needs an incredible amount of power in a very small physical space. Remember old computers? They were clunky, then computers got smaller, but when you consider the energy, width, and density that artificial intelligence needs, even the smallest computers can be clunky. They can be too big. Artificial intelligence requires concentration in a microfield. The microchips of a size unimaginable in the past have now reached processing power and speed that was also unimaginable in the past. Moreover, all these processes must take place without causing excessive heating in machines. This is where Nvidia comes in and provides a technology to AI firms that other chip manufacturers cannot. In this context, OpenAI's ChatGPT became Nvidia's best customer. As ChatGPT grew, Nvidia began to grow rapidly. Nvidia has a dominant share in designing the hardware and software stack required to power expensive programs. Nvidia's core products are graphics processing units, or which are the gold standard for training advanced artificial intelligence programs. Nvidia's largest customers are giants like OpenAI, Elon Musk's Tesla, and also Musk's X.AI, Meta, and Amazon. Nvidia's products are mostly used to train computers, to train artificial intelligence. This process requires a lot of energy. At the same time, a very intense process must be carried out in a very small area. The rise in size of Nvidia and other similar companies tell us a lot about politics and economics. When we look at the 1990s, the largest company in America was General Electric. NGA's value was only $92 billion in those years. The largest company in America and its value was $92 billion. Although General Electric, even in those years, controlled more money than many states, and at that time, electronic products, oil companies, that is, tangible things we could touch, were still the measures of wealth and size. By 2010, the largest company in America was an oil company, and its value was $314 billion. Automobile manufacturers and oil companies are now far behind. Even some banks have regressed significantly. The explosion in technology companies has given the United States new power in a completely different dimension. Today, there are at least 10 companies in America with a value of over $1 trillion, and they control much more money than many states. These companies, which control capital on the scale and size of national economies, provide many benefits to America. The main benefit is that the private sector undertakes projects that even states cannot afford. Since the 19th century, America has been a place where wild capitalism was encouraged. Firms were encouraged to grow in America like nowhere else. These companies grew as if on hormones. Washington allowed and encouraged the accumulation of almost unlimited capital in the hands of corporations. This approach continues today thanks to this individuals and companies that can reach trillions of dollars in capital have been able to finance projects that could not be financed in other countries. For example, let's take Musk's companies. When you look at companies like SpaceX or Starlink, there is almost no state on Earth that can carry out the projects these companies are conducting on that scale today. There is only one state, you can consider it an exception, that is China, communist China. Even European companies cannot come close to the capital of American firms. Capital, that is main. This is a very important element. This is one of the features that China is imitating in America. That is, to accumulate capital on a massive scale and, if possible, to gather it in a few hands. This way, capital is brought to much larger amounts. If you don't have trillions of dollars, you can't raise space projects or some defense projects above a certain scale. For example, you are going to the moon, going to Mars, making rockets, and launching thousands of satellites around the world. You cannot do this with a few million or a few billion dollars. There are some projects that you have to risk putting in $100 billion, $200 billion. Only America can do this on Earth, thanks to these companies. And China can do it A third group does not exist for now. China, by imitating America, is trying to create giants that can compete with American companies in the virtual world, in artificial intelligence, in semiconductor chip production, in robot production, and in almost every area of the economy, and it has already started. Think of companies like Huawei, for example, or electric car manufacturers. In this war between America and China, even the large European companies are small. Maybe they are dwarfs. The current situation of America and China brings to mind a story, Gulliver in the Land of Dwarfs. Or it makes us imagine a scene, Gulliver in the Land of Dwarves, the relationships between giants and dwarfs. If we want to understand international relations, we must know geography. Of course, we must know history. I repeat this often. But in addition to these, there is a reality that we absolutely must know. That is economics. The size of companies, the size of capital, the capacities of states and countries. If we don't know these international relations, just means gossiping and producing conspiracy theories. And that's not what true international relations is. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next broadcast. Take very good care of yourselves. Goodbye.